What's going on, YouTube world and YouTube tribe? Welcome back to LilBigMan Gaming. LilBigMan Gaming. Yeah, I got tongue tied. Bringing you another review for Supergirl, episode 15, called Hope for Tomorrow. Synopsis: Supergirl continues to fight Nixley for the remaining totems, but after Nixley kidnaps William, Supergirl realizes she needs to take a more proactive stance to keep National City safe. Alex faces the biggest challenge of her life. So, a lot of moving parts in this episode. You got the side story of Alex and Kelly's adoption of their new daughter, who we found out is an alien who could mimic people's powers. That's basically what her speciality was. She can mimic people with powers, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, that makes sense now from the last episode, which why things happen. Trying to see. Esma. That's basically what it was. That's her name, right? So I was trying to remember her name before I tell you how it started off. Alex. Basically, the episode starts off with Alex, and Alex and Kelly basically getting their home ready for Esma. Kelly was bringing Esma to the home. Alex, John, and Kara was getting the home ready for Esma. Kara is basically excited. She's very excited for Alex that Alex finally gets to become a mother. So this is a payoff from the previous episode where Alex and Kelly walk away with a little girl, realizing something, and that something realized they wanted to adopt this little girl. So that's what they do. Asma is a delight to be there. She loves being there. She loves it, right? And then she goes to They asked her that she want to, that she likes stuffed animals. They had some nice stuffed animals for her, but she had a favorite one. And they asked her, where would you like to put your favorite stuffed animal? She goes to go put it on the shelf because she already had picked out a spot for it. But then she phases through the wall, almost like how John would. And John quickly, he phased too and grabbed her from going all the way through the wall, and she immediately apologized, and she said she'll never do it again. Like she almost about to get in trouble, and they like, you're not in trouble. You don't have to be sorry. You're not in trouble, and that's when it comes to realization. She can mimic other aliens and their powers. She could, at the time, I think she actually mimicked John, but she could also mimic Kara's abilities as well. Remember that because that comes into play. I don't know if I'm going to tell you where it comes into play to, but just in case I don't tell you, it comes into play later on in the episode where a certain secret is revealed to her thanks to her powers. Because I will say this, when she mimics your powers, she knows where she got it from. Like when she mimicked John's power, she knows she got it from John. Because I guess like part of her ability is just be able to know who she took that power from. And this is revealed too in the same scene where she revealed who she knew this person was, because she had already mimicked this person's powers, though we didn't see her use it until this scene. She had actually mimicked that person's powers and realized who that person was due to the mimicry. But they reassure her, and Nixie makes her appearance. Nia is not in this episode, but Brainy returns in this episode, and basically, they they basically realize they gotta stop Nixie from getting these other totems, because Nixie has basically now is ready to take the Hope totem that made it apparent that she was trying to take in the last episode, but they was dealing with the whole humanity totem. So this episode she finally ready, because now she doesn't have the one totem the humanity totem that Carl took from her, and now she plans to take the Hope totem to combine it with the Courage totem to use it against Supergirl and her friends. And Nixie goes go take it, where while they was at the Watchtower, I think Brandon was questioning them about what to get Asma, but then his facial recognition goes off. It sent him the old picture from the last previous episode where Nixie was dressed up as a cop trying to get into the museum with the Hope totem was. And he tells her the reason why he got this picture off this algorithm he ran, because she reappeared there again. And they realized this got to be, they realized what was happening while she was there in the last episode, because this got to be where the Hope totem was. So when they get there, they see Nixie had already grabbed a hold to it and said that little catchphrase, the capic. I can't remember what it was, but it's something like that with a C. It's like a some type of word with a C that's a catchphrase. But we don't know what she's been told, because the fight ensures that she calls some wall, like this wall of energy, and it turns out that this humanity, the Hope totem, is in this place where all these diplomats and head of states and stuff, basically all these people in charge of the nuclear warheads, they was all getting together for a peaceful resolution. But thanks to her, they said this is using the humanity totem, she was able to turn the humanity pretty much almost all the way off, and they would start fighting with each other. But thanks to Supergirl and thanks to the totem itself, she couldn't get away with the Hope totem, because the Hope totem was stuck in this rock like Excalibur almost. But once you say the password, as with Kara grabbing it and saying the password, you're told that this gauntlet requires you to encourage to aspire so much hope. I should say not courage but hope, that it will be everlasting, longer than the sun. More powerful and lasting than the sun, I think is how they used it. And Supergirl is confused by this, because she's like, I aspire hope every day, but now you want me to inspire hope that's supposed to be everlasting and changing and all this type of stuff. How is she supposed to do that? And Nixie comes to that same realization. She's like, she don't understand how she's going to try to complete the gauntlet, and she don't care about inspiring hope and all that type of stuff. She wants to, she wants to get all the totems so she can take revenge on her father. So, what I was about to say, she said she figures that she's going to let Kara. She realized Kara is the most hopeful person ever, so Kara's going to eventually figure it out what she needs to do to get the Hope totem. And then once she does get the Hope totem out of the rock, she just plans to attack Kara then or have Kara bring it to her for an even exchange. This even exchange is her plan to kidnap William. She wants to kidnap William and use him as leverage to get Supergirl to give up the both totems. And they do eventually kidnap William. Andrea and Kara has a little head button, because eventually you get to this one point in the episode where Kara is basically trying to figure out how to get the Hope totem, and she's like, you know what, Lena, she's like, instead of trying to complete this gauntlet as Supergirl, why don't you just do it as Kara, as Kara Danvers? I think it's time for Kara to run this gauntlet. So she thinks, Kara comes up with a plan as her to run this piece of, to have this peace story ran about how the violence and the tyranny and all this other stuff is causing all this mayhem and destruction, and she figures if they bring light to it, it should inspire. It should inspire so much hope. I guess enough hope to be more everlasting than the sun itself, whatever that meant. Uh, but things don't go to goes to plan because Andrea basically stops the story because she wants to know why Supergirl is working the Super Friends beat where she get that to William, and this is where William's capture takes place, and Supergirl is basically powerless to stop it. So when William captures, Supergirl basically tries to devise a plan to beat Nixley and get the totems back, which they said have to involve Lena. They, without wanting to push so much onto Lena to use the family heirloom and to believe and embrace magic. They kind of asked her, nicely, you think you can find a way to neutralize or at least keep Nixley from grabbing the totem until she can figure out a way to undo the totem. And they said, you know what, we got you. Okay, fine. So, Lena's like, I would try to make some type of potion. So Supergirl basically is still struggling, trying to figure out. In the meantime, we got back to Alex and Kelly for a bit. Alex is starting to become like a drill sergeant, basically, now with asthma, right? She believes, she got growing pains. She's nervous and she's happy, nervous, and scared all the same time. That she got a kid, so she really doesn't. And it starts shows her inexperience where she starts being more like a drill sergeant than a mother to the little girl because she kept trying to get asthma basically to push through, to train and push through her so she could basically control her abilities, but not maybe just taking the time to give her a hug and reassure her that just because you can't control your abilities, you're not going anywhere. Because they figure out later on her main problem was that she was afraid to get close to people because she was afraid that people were just going to leave her. So, Alex basically forces Asma to push through, even so far as to go try to mimic Supergirl's powers and try to use Supergirl as a template to help her try to get a hold of her abilities. And one of the abilities that Asma mimicked from Supergirl was her super hearing, but that didn't go too well as she used super hearing one too many times. And the last time she basically heard like some not so good stuff happening to somebody, and she's like, "You're a monster. You're horrible. You're a monster. Why would you make me listen to that?" And Alex immediately realized what she did was wrong. She immediately realized that she was pushing Kelly to become better instead of just being there for Kelly, Asma, instead of just being there for her. She was pushing her too hard, and now she wanted just to go back to the home because she feel like she'll be she'd be more safer. That it'd be more safer for them that way. And Kelly, after a talk, Kelly realized that I'm a psychiatrist. I should have seen this. That's what's wrong with Asma. It's not so much about controlling her powers. She's afraid that because of her powers, we're going to just be like, you know what? We did want to adopt you, but not anymore. Take her back. Take her back. We don't want her no more. She thinks that's what's going to happen to her. So they realized, Kelly and Alex realized what they had to do. They just had to sit down and talk with her to reassure her that, nothing bad will ever happen. We never will leave you. And to do this, they use one of those true secret squid-like things to basically make sure that they always tell the truth. And this works. This gets Asma to reassure that she has a loving family and that they will never leave her. Back to Supergirl. Supergirl ended up finding Lena's little spell ended up working just good enough for them to help with the fight with Nixley. The little summit with the little diplomats is getting worse because they ain't got to the point where they basically ready to push the button to send all the nukes to each other. And Supergirl and them see this on the news. They're like, this is not right. We should be doing more. We should be out there doing something to stop this. And Supergirl said, "You know what? I'm not having it. We're going to do it anyway." And they go out there and they stop the missiles, and in the process, inspire a hope that would be more lasting than the sun itself, because the way they brought almost all the nations together because the selfless act that she was doing. I want to say some other stuff happened. A battle ensued with Nixley that led to Supergirl attaining 3 different items, if you know what, 2 of them, because one was already in custody, but you get what I mean. A fight ensues where, for one, a totem that she had in her possession, and the humanity totem. Supergirl, after doing what she did with the missile, she goes back and says the password. This time, the totem says, "Congratulations, you had done very nice, very well." And the flower made of stone that represents the hope flower, basically turns into a real life, almost like energy. To the crystal, or like it was a square. It wasn't really like a crystal. It was more like a square. But they used this against her to save William, who Nixley took hostage. They used that to save her. She got tricked to thinking that she could just go grab it, and if she just come and grab it, she could still keep him hostage to keep Supergirl at bay. But they end up pulling a trick on her, beating her, but not before she could teleport away. And what I was about to say, I lost track there. Not before she teleports away, but empty-handed, as Supergirl now possessed all of the totems. And the way how I forgot to tell you, the way how she got the Hope totem, the way how Supergirl got hands over to, not the Hope totem, but the Humanity totem, was that, I forgot to do that Nixie works with. He created like a bracelet that was that he asserted that the Humanity totem had given her almost like fifth dimensional energy, but instead of fifth dimensional energy, it was just a totem energy that she could wield on command. But when she got defeated, they took that crystal from her, transforming it back into a tree, and the slingshot, and sending her on her merry way. And they lock up all the totems, but they realize they don't need to collect all the totems to stop Nixie. They just need to destroy one and hope there is no consequence for doing so, believing that if they do destroy one of the totems, the consequence could be that wherever that totem represents could be taken away from the earth, since they represent so much of the human nature and makeup. They figured maybe the Hope totem would be the best one to destroy, since we could destroy the Hope totem because we would improve, we could give humanity back their hope. So even if the consequence was you destroy the Hope totem, you destroy humanity's hope, and they don't have, and now it's like a permanent thing where they can't hope and be civil. But we have yet to see if that's going to play out. But they figure if that happens, they would just give them hope anyway through different acts of kindness and hope. It ends with Kelly basically reassuring Esmond that she's in a safe place, that she's never going to go in, and then they talk to each other about how good and yet terrifying it feels to be parents, but they told you love it and is ready for more of it. I'm trying to see, was there anything else? There was a nice little Easter egg like cliffhanger at the end where Nixie gets a visit from a certain Luthor, and a suit is given to her, which it was poised Nixie to be a big threat in the next episode. But that's all I got. If I give this episode anything, I give it I'll say I'll give it an 8 big ups too, just because it wasn't a bad episode, but it just wasn't a perfect 10 episode. But it was still a good, enjoyable episode as you want. And if you want to see it, head over to the CW.com to watch Supergirl and any of your favorite CW shows on there. CW, you hear me? I'm promoting you. Let's work together. Come on. I got people. I don't got much, but I got people who probably tune in to watch this. But yeah, that's all I got, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then hit that button right there in the upper right corner, because I left things out just so you can go watch the episode. But if you enjoyed this video, hit that up in the upper right corner for all of my reviews. And if you enjoyed this video so much that you want to support the channel, then hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because you become part of the fam, part of the tribe. It doesn't cost you but a simple click. And hit that notification button so you get notified when I drop videos. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. But the Chief is out. I'll probably be back with some gameplay videos. But until then, peace. See you in the next one. Oh, sorry. See you in the next one.